Bon dia, it's Lady Flo here. So we all know Gyp was losing it. She's about to burst. She's an anime that's about to explode because everyone's talking about election and they weren't talking about her coming November 5th. So what did she do, y'all? What did this girl do? Well, she did what I call the Gyp effect. You see, I have coined that phrase because eventually it will go down in history. The Gyp effect says when the presidential election is being known and it's being discussed on every media, she's going to release her paternity tests. Yep, she wants MSN, ABC, Fox News to stop talking about the elections and talk about her. Talk about who her baby daddy is. I hope Kamala and President Trump know that this little girl here, the Gyp effect, she thinks she's bigger, badder, and more important than they are. Imagine Gyp is telling Ken, we got to do something. Our cell phones are absorbing our energy and soaking us up into a portal, and we're going to get swirled away while everyone talks about the elections. But then she's like, wait, everything's okay, babe. I have a plan. Just get on your phone right now and research how to differentiate on Wicco how a fake paternity test from a real one.
Imagine Ken responds, yeah, Jim, how do we find a paternity test that doesn't confirm anything, but also doesn't allege anything, but also doesn't confirm anything? And then we can post it during the elections, and everyone will focus on us on November 5th instead of everything else, and we'll get so many likes.
Gyp responds, yeah, Ken, all that pregnancy weight I gave to you, I got skinnier, you got bigger. Well, it went to your brain, and now you're as smart as me, the Gyp effect. We are one team, Ken, and together we can tell everyone you're the alleged father. Now we just have to follow the steps on WikiHow. Step 1.
Paternity photo shoot?
Yes, Ken. Step 2.
Tell everyone that we're going to do a paternity test this week?
Yes, Ken. Step 3.
I don't know, Jim. What's step 3?
Requesting a sample from a freaking paternity place. Duh.
Well, aren't you a little bit worried about releasing a paternity test to all the main news organizations? I mean, I know we're getting money for all this, but can we go to jail for fraud?
Funny, Ken. Well, remember, we're not going to confirm anything. We're also not going to allege anything, but we're also not going to confirm anything. So all we need to do is make people think something. You can't go to jail for that. Y'all, thank you for laughing with me. Now, this is my opinion of what I think happened when her and Kim were on their phones and they were so focused. Is they were planning all this. This is my opinion. And this is based on what she did do and also didn't do on the results. So my guess is she went to Google and Googled how to tell if a paternity test is real or fake. The first thing that pops up is WikiHow. So it's almost as though, like, if you compare her paternity test and you compare it to what WikiHow tells you to look for, she aced it on every single count. She made sure it looked very similar to the sample report of the company. She made sure that it had the word alleged in there instead of confirmed. She made sure that it was less than 100% positive on the test. But she forgot other important things that a test is supposed to have on it because it wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm laughing so hard. Because, oh gosh, I can't. Because it wasn't on the WikiHow page. I'm trying to keep it serious here, y'all. But she forgot that the CPI is the most important part of the typed section of the test. So if we read the one she provided, all it says is one number, 99.9%, which she got that right. It's not supposed to be 100%, but she failed to remember that on DNA testing, that there is scientific language and verbiage. It's called lingo that is used. And the lingo in this type section only covers what WikiHow tells you is going to be on there. It does not cover all the other biological information like the CPI that is going to be on there. CPI, or Combined Paternity Index, is the product of an individual's PIs. It's the CPI index, is ultimately used to calculate the probability of paternity on test reports. Why this is important? Well, they take the gene alleles from each partner, and they take those alleles and they compare them to the fetal alleles. And when they do this, they use a probability index to calculate the CPI and come to a conclusion. Reading here, it says an allele is a variation of a gene. If you and a partner give birth to a child, the child will have one allele from you and one allele from the other parent. For one locust, a child may have alleles 12 and 20. If you have 20 and 14, it can be presumed that the child got 20 from you. That would be a match. But if you had 17 and 14, then it would not be a match. So they basically match these alleles. Here you can see the DNA test report. Normally, a DNA test report has 2 pages. It has the type page, which Gypsy saw in the sample probably, and then it has the second page, which shows the breakdown of the DNA test report and the matching alleles and the CPI. So now that everyone knows what the CPI is and how it's calculated, let's go back to Gypsy's test and see if there's a CPI listed. Now, on any real and valid paternity test, there will be 2 things listed. There will be the probability of paternity, which Gypsy knew because it's on WikiHow. That's what you see here, the 99.9%. But she failed to list the other necessary bit of information, which is the CPI. And both have to be listed on an actual paternity document. Now, the company that she used on here has 2 options. If your baby's already born and you want to do a test, you can do what's called a buccal swab. That can be done at home. And it's where a cotton swab is wrapped, put it in your mouth, get some DNA on it, and then you mail it in. Those can be done at home. They have another option that can be done in a lab. And you can do it just for yourself, or you can also do it in the lab for the court. And the only difference is that one verifies your identity on the form itself and one doesn't. Some YouTubers were speculating that Gypsy may have done an at-home DNA paternity test. That is not the case. At-home tests can only be done using buccal, and that's a mouth swab, basically a cotton swab in the mouth getting DNA. Yeah, those can be done at home. But Gypsy is telling us here that she did a blood test. You can see her reference number, and it looks like Ken put in a buccal swab. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but as we know for a while now, Gypsy has been leading the public to believe, and also Ryan to believe, that she would be submitting a paternity test that would be admissible in court. That kind of test requires an in-office visit where they verify your identification, look at your ID. Since she doesn't have a driver's license, they would verify her ID, maybe her birth certificate. They would be there and they would collect the sample, and Gypsy would not be allowed to touch it. Then they would complete the test and give her the results, and then she could later take that to court, and it might be admissible, right? Even though it might not be a lab selected by the court, they might take it. But on this form, we do not see that her name has been notarized on here at all and verified. You do not see a single signature on here verifying that they confirmed Gypsy is who she says she is and that Ken is who he says he is, right? So this would just be a normal in-office visit. This would not be the one used for court. So she went in, according to this paper, she wants us to believe she went in and did a blood sample, and that Ken did a buccal sample, and that the alleged father, Kenan Erker, had a 99.9% probability of paternity. Sounds very believable. However, this document lacks any information on the CPI. The CPI is an index that calculates the number of alleles that match. Alleles are genetic material. You can call them locus as well. But each allele has to match the parent. If it doesn't match, you're not the parent. In this case, only the probability of paternity is listed, But the CPI, which is the most crucial information, is not listed anywhere on this page document. Anywhere. Now, my guess is Gyp didn't realize that the CPI is a crucial verification to authenticate a paternity test done at an actual lab. She probably didn't research it enough to know that. But she probably read WikiHow. Sorry, but WikiHow didn't talk about that part of it. So, whoops. So yeah, guys, this document, in my opinion, is not real. Real in the way that it was made, but not real in the way that it has no CPI on it. You see, if it were real, it would not only have a CPI number, but it would show which alleles match. It would say number 11 allele and number 20 allele are a match for the alleged father. But that's not what we see here. What we see here is almost an exact replica of what the sample would be provided by the company. And you can request a sample from every single paternity company out there. They'll give you a sample. And this is so you can help verify that someone's not throwing a fake at you, right? But in Ryan's case, he's going through a divorce, which is legal. And I'll just say, because this has no CPI number on it, it's very possible that Ryan could request that the court verify through the company that this is a real test. And if it isn't, she might not be able to be pressed for fraud by MSN or TMZ or anyone else who covered the story, but Ryan might be able to press her for fraud during the divorce paperwork. Ryan could request the court to verify that this test was done for real at this legit company, and he could ask the court why the CPI is not listed on this document if it were real. Yep, and the court could verify that pretty quick. And then Gyp might be in a little bit of trouble. My guess is when she went on that rant saying, Oscar, I've been a bad girl, take me back. I feel like that was a direct hit at Ryan saying, don't press me on this document. Don't put this through the court and ask them to verify this test. Or if so, like, if you ever want me back, you won't be able to have me back, kind of a thing. I think in her mind, she really does think that Ryan wants her back. She might think that men want her money so bad, they might want her too. But there's not enough money in the world to put up with that nonsense. What was the word Tay used? Oh, shenanigans. Gotta love that word. So, back to where I began this video. The fact that Gyp did this test, she could have done it for months, but she does it now, and she does it and releases it. So she did this on the 28th. It takes like 2-3 days. So she would have gotten it sometime by like November 1st, November 2nd. But she releases it on election day. Let that sink in. Has what I call the Gyp effect, where she looks in the mirror and she sees herself as this glorious being that no one else can be talking about the president or Kim K or Taylor Swift. She's jealous of the Swifties loving Taylor Swift. She's jealous that we're talking about the elections. She's jealous that the media is covering anything but her. I mean, in her eyes, she really feels that she's the queen of the kingdom, the queen of the castle, the queen of the media. Whoever gave her this idea and allowed her ego to get so big, I mean, shame on you. Give this girl a little dose of reality. Reality is, you're not the biggest fish in the sea, Gyp. How about you go swim away and let the sharks swim with the sharks, okay? Instead, you're out here posting your paternity results on November 5th, a direct dig at the whole presidential process. You're directly insulting powerful people and telling them your important day doesn't matter to me at all. Unlike other celebs, they go on and they'll encourage people to vote, or they'll encourage people to have unity no matter what the decision is, or they'll encourage people to like be thoughtful about their voting process, or they might wear a voting sticker or be like, can't wait to find out who's, what's going to happen. Or at the very least, they'll be like, get your popcorn ready. Let's watch some crazy shiz on TV, on the news. But no, it's Gyp putting out her baby daddy paternity results because her baby daddy is what's important. You guys, her baby daddy is what's important. I think this is what happens when you're too sheltered in life, when you don't go to India and you don't visit other countries, or you just don't ever hang out with people like richer or poorer than you. Or on top of that, you never have anyone around you that tells you the truth. You get this ridiculous, almost like mental state of what reality is. And I honestly feel like, when we saw J-Lo, who maybe has been really rich and kind of, away from society for a long time, where she kind of forgot how relatable people are outside of art and riches and being billionaires. She kind of forgot how to relate to the normal people. And here you see Gyp. She's not even a billionaire, guys. And she's out here posting her baby daddy stuff purposely on November the 5th. I hope every celeb runs away from this stink as fast as they can. And in the words of Taylor Swift, which we should all love for doing this, we don't want any part of Gyp's shenanigans. President Trump, soon to be, and any other celeb out there who is in the aim of Gyp here, run away from the stink as fast as you effing can, okay? And guys, don't forget to follow, share this with someone. And thank you for watching. Ciao.